Chapter 16 extends this economic focus to the international trade system, and Chuang-Feng Wu explains the health and human rights impacts of the World Trade Organization, especially the balance between intellectual property protections and health-related human rights that will be so crucial in ensuring equitable access to a COVID-19 vaccine.
Jian Hui and I want to first congratulate Larry and Ben on this important book, which provides a detailed understanding of global health and human rights and the potential solutions to the challenges. This book is also important during this difficult time, when the COVID-19 pandemic is redefining global health governance. The chapter, International Trade, Public Health, and Human Rights, Jian Hui and I wrote, aims to explore how to navigate health-related human rights in the trade and public health complex by tracing the intersection of international trade and public health, by examining the role of international trade in global health law, and by investigating possible venues to resolve the trade and public health tension in light of human rights. The tension between international trade, public health, and human rights has attracted lots of attention during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially when most countries worry that the protection of intellectual property rights stipulated in TRIPS and the TRIPS Plus may harm the public health of developing and the least developed countries and override the state's obligations to protect and fulfill the right to health, which entails providing for immunization and treatment against the major infectious diseases to all without discrimination. But as discussed in this chapter, a human rights approach which calls for an emphasis on the role of the state not only as negotiators of trade law and the setters of trade policy, but also as the primary duty bearer of the implementation of human rights, can be applied as an essential tool during this challenging time by exploring a various form of vulnerabilities exposed by strict intellectual property rules as accelerated by the pandemic, and to balance the conflict between public health and intellectual property. It is a great honor for me to work with Larry, Ben, and all the distinguished authors on this important project. I hope that we can win the battle against the COVID-19 in the near future and meet you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuang-Feng. And thank you to Academia Sinica, which will be bringing us together again next week in Taiwan as we work with Chuang-Feng to launch this book for an East Asian audience.